Unlocking the value of intangible assets, a deep dive into business valuation. In the modern economy, built on the accumulation of information, intangible assets have emerged as more crucial drivers of business value. These assets can have a substantial impact on a company's valuation in a variety of ways, ranging from the value of its brand and intellectual property to the value of its customer relationships and proprietary technologies. Nevertheless, putting a price on intangible assets can be a difficult and time-consuming task. In this article, we will investigate the role that intangible assets play in the process of business valuation, talk about the issues that come with valuing intangible assets, and look at the many methodologies that are used to estimate the value of intangible assets. We will also present case studies of businesses that have large intangible assets, along with an examination of how the presence of these assets has impacted the total valuation of the companies in question. The increasing significance of assets that are not tangible. Intangible assets are assets that are not physical in nature and contribute to the competitive edge of a company as well as the generation of value over the long term. Patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, customer connections, and the value of a brand are just some of the intangible assets that can be protected. In the course of the last few decades, intangible assets have emerged as more essential factors in determining the value of a company. A study conducted by Ocean Tomo found that intangible assets accounted for 84% of the market value of S&P 500 firms in 2018, which is a significant increase from the just 17% that they contributed back in 1975. The difficulties associated with valuing intangible assets. The process of valuing intangible assets can be complicated and difficult for a number of reasons, including the following. 1. The absence of standardization. In contrast to tangible assets, intangible assets frequently lack established measurement and assessment methodologies. As a result, it is difficult to compare their value across different firms and industries. 2. The value of intangible assets can be entirely subjective due to the fact that it frequently depends on a variety of factors, including future cash flows, the conditions of the market, and the actions taken by management. 3. Insufficient data. Because intangible assets are frequently exclusive to a particular organization, it can be challenging to locate comparable data for the purposes of valuation. Various approaches to the valuation of intangible assets. In spite of these obstacles, there are a few different approaches that can be taken to arrive at an assessment of the value of intangible assets. 1. The cost approach is a strategy that determines the worth of an intangible asset by basing the estimation on the amount of money it would take to recreate or replace the asset. This can include the costs of research and development, marketing, and any other costs associated with the creation of the asset. 2. The market approach. This technique determines the value of an intangible asset by comparing it to the prices that are currently being paid for other comparable assets. This can involve analyzing the item in relation to other comparable assets that have recently been purchased or sold on the market. 3. The income approach determines the value of an intangible asset by basing the valuation on the predicted future cash flows that will be generated by the asset. This can involve projecting the asset's future revenues and then discounting those projections to get at the asset's worth at the present moment. Case studies. 1. Apple Inc. The value of the Apple brand is one of the most important intangible assets owned by Apple. Apple's brand value was projected to be $355.1 billion in Interbrand's 2021 Best Global Brands report, making it the most valuable brand in the world. This ranking was based on Apple's position as the most valuable brand overall. This brand value has significantly contributed to Apple's entire business valuation, reaching more than $2 trillion in 2021. 2. Google, Alphabet Inc. The intellectual property that Google possesses, in particular its search algorithm and related technologies, is an important intangible asset that has been a primary factor in the company's expansion and valuation. Alphabet Inc., Google's parent company, had a market valuation of over $1.5 trillion in 2021. A substantial percentage of this value was attributed to the business's intangible assets, which contributed significantly to the total value. 3. Coca-Cola. The value of Coca-Cola's brand and its ties with its customers are among the company's most valuable intangible assets. Coca-Cola was ranked as the sixth most valuable brand in the world by Interbrand's estimation in 2021 when the brand's value was projected to be $33.2 billion. The combined effects of this brand value and the vast customer ties maintained by the corporation have led to the overall business valuation of Coca-Cola, which surpassed $230 billion in the year 2021. Conclusion. In today's knowledge-based economy, intangible assets have emerged as more significant contributors to the overall worth of a company. Understanding the impact that these assets have on the total valuation of a firm is essential for investors, managers, and any other stakeholders, despite the fact that valuing these assets can be difficult and complicated. Through the study of case studies of businesses that have large intangible assets, we are able to acquire useful insights into the role that these assets play in producing corporate value and altering the landscape of competition. Thanks for watching.